What's up, YouTube? Murphy Firearms Training here. A while back I did a video, got some hate mail. Everybody said, get a better belt, get a better belt. First of all, a decent leather belt is fine for concealed carry. Yes, it will let the gun sag a little bit, but it's never been an issue for me. But, people say to try something. I'm willing to try something. So I did a little research and I picked Bigfoot gun belts. I've owned this belt for a year and a half. I'm going to give you the pros and the cons. Now, first of all, this is a nylon belt, very thin. It is 2 layers of nylon. So if you look at the belt, you're going to see a layer on the inside and a layer on the outside. But it's very thin. It is very lightweight. You almost don't know it's there. It has a spring steel core in the middle. And this is one of the 2 belts I bought from him. You'll see here's the buckle. There's quite a bit of wear on it. I've worn this belt a whole lot in the last year and a half. I have 2 belts from them, and they're the only 2 belts I have worn. It does actually have a load rating here on the buckle. It has a load rating on the buckle for what this belt will withstand. It says 15 kilonewtons. Excuse me, 18 kilonewtons. It helps. I need my reading glasses to read that. All right. So the way you work this, you thread this through the buckle. I'll show you how that works. So I've got it threaded through here. You thread your belt under this loop, over this loop, and then there's all this Velcro. I mean, there is a lot of Velcro here. So you have a wide range, and you Velcro it down, and it holds real tight. It's a great belt. It's quite stiff. It's quite sturdy. It holds my gun quite well. However, if you look at how I've got this looped, I was always taught, I've got a lot of folks in my family in the military, and when I was younger, someone told me the way you thread your belt on is you go from here and you go around your left and back around to your right. So it'd be counterclockwise if you're looking down. And I've always threaded my belt on that way. And I'm a right-handed shooter. And the big con I have found to this belt is that depending on the size you buy, you may run into a problem, and this is where I'm running into it, is that for this to center on the button for my pants, that there's enough slack that it actually interferes with my holster. And so if you are that person, especially if you were in the military, because that's how they thread their belts on, if you were ever in the military and that's how you thread your belt on, that's how you were taught to thread a belt on or required to thread a belt on, you want to be real careful what you order in terms of size, because so when I originally bought this, I bought a large. This is, you can see from the tag, this is a medium. I originally bought a large. I wore a size 38 pant, and the large came around, if I tighten this just a little bit more, came around to about here. Okay, so it came around, if this is my waist, it came around to here. Well, my holster was right here. So it interfered with my holster. I couldn't wear it. So I sent it back and I got a medium from them. And when I first started wearing this holster, again, I wore a 38 pant and it threaded to about here. And my holster sat right here. And so here's this loose end. Here's my holster. No big deal. I have lost some weight. I'm down to about a 35 waist. And so now this excess comes all the way back. It interferes with my holster again. And this is the medium. So that is the one problem I have with this belt. If you are left-handed and thread your belt this way, it's not going to be an issue. If you are right-handed and you thread your belt this way, where the excess is over to your left, it is not going to be an issue. But it's just one of those things that if that bothers you, this may not be the belt for you. So that's the first belt I bought from Bigfoot Gun Belts. Again, it's got this spring steel in it. It's very thin. It's very light. It's a very comfortable belt. The buckle is aluminum. I can't say enough how much I like this belt a lot. I wear it a lot. It's a tactical looking belt. The other thing that bothers my wife, it doesn't bother me, but when you thread this way, this buckle kind of sticks out, and she said that annoys her. So I told her I'd mention it, okay? So now moving on to belt number 2. Throw that off to the side. Here is belt number 2. This is a brown leather, and I did get it with the basket weave. I wear a collared shirt and slacks every day to work. And so for me at least, and you can see some scratches on this thing from clipping stuff to it, But for me, at least, I thought this was a really nice, dressy looking belt. It looked really good when I was dressing nice for work. Anyway, and you can see there's not a lot here identifying it other than their little logo here, the Bigfoot logo on these two screws that screw the belt together, or rivets. I don't know if they're screws or rivets. I thought they were screws, but it looks like they're rivets. But anyway, so but here it is. Okay, here it is. Here's the belt. It is a brown leather belt, and the sides have been burnished. It's quite well made. It is double stitched leather. It's very thick. Now they sell two leather belts on Bigfoot gun belts. One is a 14 ounce, and one is an 18 ounce. And I decided, since all these people were giving me hate mail about wearing a thicker, better, sturdier belt, I went with the 18 ounce leather with a spring steel core. And I regret that decision because this belt is very comfortable. It is exceptionally sturdy. I have yet to put a heavy enough gun on it to make it flex. So it's great. I mean, if you carry a heavy gun, this is a great belt. However, it is so thick. That 18 ounce leather is so thick. And I brought out my calipers just to measure this for you guys. So here are my dial calipers, and I'm going to go somewhere kind of in the middle of the belt here and give this a measure. But it's thick. When I say it's thick, it's thick. It is 0.291 inches, 0.291. So it's more than 1/4 of an inch thick. And what I have found is if you wear like khakis, there are some belt loops that this struggles to get through. I mean, it is so thick that you almost can't get it through belt loops. I have also found some holsters, specifically one of my appendix holsters. The clip is too thin this way for this to go over and bite real well on the bottom of the belt, and you will pull the holster out instead of pulling the gun out. So, and then I have a Kydex holster that I wear with my Ruger American pistol. It is an Eclipse Blade Tech, and it has these hard plastic clips that you thread your belt through. This belt struggles. I can get it through, but it is a struggle to get this through those clips. So the 18 ounce gun belt from Bigfoot Gun Belts, it is by far, it's the sturdiest and the most comfortable belt I've ever owned. This is my favorite belt. I wear this belt more than even the black one. And I've worn the black one or this one every single day for the last year and a half. And I find myself really favoring this one. I really like this belt. I like a leather belt. I like how the look of this. I think it's a very attractive belt. But for certain holsters, it is too thick. So when I carry appendix, I carry the black belt. And the appendix holster clips to it really nicely. When I carry outside the waistband with my Ruger American pistol, I really have to shove, and you can actually see there's some damage to the tip here, and that is from shoving this through that Eclipse Blade Tech holster to get my outside the waistband holster on. But it's a good belt. It's held up well. You can see, I mean, there's some marks and scratches. I am not gentle on things at all. But overall, I mean, the basket weave pattern looks really good after a year and a half. It still looks very, very nice. And again, you can see there's a little bit of a scratch here. I don't even know what that's from. I know this is from carrying an IWB holster that I clip on right here. You know, but I mean, there's some scratches and some marks. There's a little divot here, and that's actually from my spare mag carrier. And it just barely fits on this big old thick belt, so I have to shove it way, way down to get the clip to clip on the bottom, and that's what's caused this little bad spot here in the belt. But I mean, it's not very noticeable. It's a really good looking, attractive belt, and it's quite sturdy. Like I said, I carry a 454 Casull snub nose when I go walking in the woods, and that's a heavy gun. That's a Ruger Alaskan. It's a 2.5 inch gun, probably weighs close to 3 pounds, and this gun holds it to me. I mean, just tight. It is definitely a great belt. I would recommend it, but if I had it to do over, I would buy the 14 ounce with the spring steel, not the 18 ounce with the spring steel. But it's a great belt. No issues. Really enjoy it. Really enjoy wearing it. We'll keep wearing it. I'm actually seriously considering going back and buying a black leather belt as well. Just to be able to wear a black leather belt when I want to wear a leather belt. So anyway, I hope that answers your questions. Again, Bigfoot gun belts. I bought these with my own money. They didn't pay me to do this review. This is my own honest review. And like I said, I really like their belts. I like how stiff they are. Like I said, it's got spring steel in it. So, I mean, you know, typically when I've had a belt for a year, year and a half, you see, especially back here at the back where your pants like to stick out, you see a lot of twisting. You see a lot of deformation. And you look at this belt and it is still, I mean, it's as straight as the day I bought it. There's just a little bit of a curve right here where it curves out slightly. But I mean, it's so minor. These belts are sturdy. They're really stiff, and I really like them. I'm glad that you guys razzed me about my belt. I'm glad that I bought a thicker, sturdier belt. You know, now I will say their leather belts are, you know, $70 some. And so, I mean, if you know, you have to have the money to buy it, it's definitely a high-end product, but it is a good product. You do get what you pay for. So if you have questions about Bigfoot gun belts, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I don't work for them. They don't pay me. I'm just someone who bought them and was happy with their product. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. Guys, I appreciate the support. And, you know, keep razzing me, keep giving me ideas, and we'll keep making videos. Thanks.